Welcome in to the latest episode of At the Real_G Warner, trying to do a summer tournament. We will be going through the futures markets for the Copa America coming to the United States this year. Normally a CONMEBOL tournament plus a couple others, but in the US, might as well add some CONCACAF quote unquote talent. I'm the Real_G Warner on Instagram, Patreon, Twitter, and on YouTube. If you're not following on those platforms, please do so. If you're not a member of my Patreon, check it out, patreon.com/Real_G Warner. Best spot to go on my plays, links, write-ups across all sports, including Euro 2024. We'll be waking up very early for because it's late night with the Real_G Warner as usual. Per usual is probably the more gambling Twitter way to put that. But then also I got plenty of baseball stuff. Had a really good day on the betting diamond, betting the pitch, my podcast network. 6-0, our last six best bets. My buddy at A Brooks Bets and I cover Major League Baseball every Tuesday. Of course, coming out with pregame episodes every week, twice a week as well, with my guy at Munaf Manji. So doing a ton of podcast stuff and trying to grow this brand. So 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify would be huge. And if you could subscribe on YouTube, that would be nice. I know I got 4 new followers in the last week. I'm trying to make that 4,000. We'll see if that actually occurs. On today's episode, we're going to go through a general overview of the teams participating that qualified or automatically put in the Copa America. All CONMEBOL South American teams qualified automatically, and then some from the CONCACAF have joined as well. Pretty much all the hosts for World Cup 2026 who are desperate for any sort of competitive matches moving forward. Plus then I think another qualifier or two. I'll give you a rundown on each of these teams, what I'm expecting from them in this tournament. Then I'll go through the title odds, the group odds to finish bottom, to advance, a little bit different than the Euro setup. And I'll get into that later. But we'll come out with an ultimate best bet end of show, and you can grade me on that. Check me out at the Real_G Warner on Instagram and on YouTube for the 1-minute version with that ultimate best bet, if that is a better way for you to consume this content. So that's my soliloquy. And then unfortunately, all lines will be quoted courtesy of Bet Online. They did a nice job of completely switching around everything when I had set up my macros and my Excel to track the odds and how they moved. If anyone has a better way to do that, please let me know. But SportsBetting.ag and Bet Online will be both giving you free money to go join their sites. Good spot to get some good juice for these tournaments. Baseball season, of course, this summer, because you're not betting -110 both ways on NFL games during the summer. You gotta shop around and get the best prices. So I'll start with the overview. The first matchup we have is Argentina, the defending Copa America title holders, and probably also World Cup holders, plus whatever other championships and things that are out there. They've won pretty much everything you can think of winning, and they've been awesome and are very big favorites to win this competition for good reason. Now, Argentina, first thing you think of when you think of Argentina is Lionel Messi, and he's still great, but isn't playing at the highest levels of competition. Doesn't matter because he hasn't defended when he was at Barcelona his last 5 years. He basically was just the one guy just doing whatever he did and waited till they got the ball back when they were dominating possession. I don't know necessarily that that's going to work so well in this competition, but Argentina are the favorite, and for good reason. And everyone they're going to play is going to do everything they can to keep the ball out of Argentina's possession, plus also out and off and away from Lionel Messi. But the problem is every time you foul an Argentinian, Messi could put the ball in the top corner, and then you're down bigger than you were just a second before. So that's going to be a big deal. Top two in these groups move through. There's no third place shenanigans like we have in the Euro, which is great. And I love that. Great move by Copa America. I'm super pumped for it. But we'll see, of course, what happens and how all that works. But top two, no third place teams getting through and trying to get through on goal difference or something like that, which might mean that people are going for it a little bit more. But I expect this to be another very low scoring competition. Peru are second on the list in Group A, but Chile, and we'll get to these numbers in a little bit. I just want to give you kind of a brief overview of my opinions on these teams before this tournament even gets, and before I'm discussing lines with you openly. Peru are a very defensive side, but changed their manager and have kind of been a lot more attacking with his onboarding, formerly of, I believe, the Qatar national team, who had bought World Cups. They could play in it. they're a little bit hard for me to kind of figure out at this point. There's a bunch of these countries from South America that don't have anyone playing internationally. So I guess Ronaldo Tapia should be a name on this list, but he's been not really playing and didn't play much at all for Celta de Vigo this season. Peru is a big question mark for me at this point, I think for a lot of others. Chile with great history in this competition. I think they were the last team that wasn't like the big name to win this thing. But they've done it before, but they are far past their golden generation. If you think Belgium's in bad shape, go check out Chile. They're going to play really defensively and try to somehow find a win. That's kind of how they did it before and had success, but they don't have anywhere near the talent. Though I think they still have what's his name from Inter and Manchester United and all those places. I can picture him in my mind right now, the Chilean. But anyway, not. I don't think they're going to have a huge say in this tournament, though. We'll get to the odds a little bit later. In Canada, after a disgusting showing in the World Cup and really losing their manager to Toronto FC in the MLS, probably a good move for him, but also questionable for John Herdman. But Canada under Jesse Marsh, they have a lot to prove, a lot of talent, but it's hard to see them succeeding the same way they did and winning the CONCACAF qualifying for the World Cup a few seasons ago. Moving to Group B, we have Mexico, Ecuador, Venezuela, and Jamaica. That is the projected order of finish based on the odds. Mexico, pretty much, I'm putting them as a home team in all their matches, especially if they play the United States. I consider more Mexicans to be, or I would guess there would be more Mexican in the crowd or Mexico supporters. That is Ecuador, a talented team from South America, but question their offense quite a bit. Venezuela, who's been really good out of nowhere. Basically, they were bottom of CONMEBOL in qualifying for the World Cup and then have been very good in qualifying ever since that World Cup was played. So I don't know if that's an economical thing or what to say, but Venezuelans are all over the top 5 European soccer leagues, especially in La Liga in Spain, and they have been playing very well in CONMEBOL, so that's a team I would look out for. Last in this group are Jamaican Reggae Boys, so not a host of the CONCACAF World Cup, so they're going to have to qualify or find a way in. They've got a lot of big names who basically couldn't make the English national team from the English Premier League, but they're all kind of past it, haven't played very well for Jamaica, so a lot to prove for the Reggae Boys. Moving to Group C of the United States, they are the host of this tournament, I guess alongside with Mexico, that technically the USA is the host. USA, there's a lot of great, I mean, basically U.S. men's national team Twitter, which is a very scary place in this world. But celebrating having all their starting 11 in the top 5 European soccer leagues in Europe. Just said that, of course, European in Europe. Duh. It's late. Sorry. It's 12:42 Central Standard Time on Thursday, June 20th, the day the tournament begins. So we are cramming this in late night, but that's how we do it. But so the U.S. gets 11 starters, all top 5 European soccer leagues, yet none of them play and none of them are important besides my guy, Cristiano Pulisic. They call him Cristiano in Milan for some reason, but got his kit on, bought it for God knows how many euros in their team store. It's a really nice kit though. If anyone likes it, feel free to throw it in the comments, leave a 5-star review, or introduce me to your beautiful friends. And then Uruguay are, I think, a big threat to the U.S. in this group. Won't have anywhere near the type of fan base. I think even my Uruguayan good friend, I don't think he even cares and probably won't even go to a game in Dallas. I'd be very surprised, probably killing people on COD or something like that, or one of those weird games I don't even know the name of. Panama in this group, I thought were pretty impressive and really look like one of those teams that should make the World Cup out of the CONCACAF in qualifying. We'll see. And then last but not least in this group is Bolivia, who probably has the longest odds to get anywhere. Haven't been good, are really desperate to play matches at their high elevation in La Paz, I believe, or maybe that's another country. Anyway, they are not good anywhere else, not good really there either. So that's a really nice draw for the United States. And last but not least, Group D, we have Brazil, Colombia, Paraguay, and Costa Rica. Brazil, who have had an awful qualifying campaign for the World Cup, especially by their standards. They usually dominate CONMEBOL and have been really struggling trying to figure out what to do when Carlo Ancelotti did not take their manager job. And then you have Ronaldinho coming out and hating on them coming into this tournament. I think Brazil will show very well in this tournament, but we'll see. I mean, they got all the talent you could ever ask for, but are a definite underdog to Argentina, and we'll maybe even mention their, I guess who goes further number here that BetOnline does offer. I saw earlier today. Colombia with a very long unbeaten streak. I don't know how much to take from that, though certainly the CONMEBOL qualifiers, it's a big deal. Smashed the United States, though 5-1. I don't think that scoreline really reflected the match, but still says something. And a Colombian team that didn't qualify for the World Cup in Qatar. They really had no offense to speak of. But they've improved their defense and finally found some goals, and that's really all you need. Paraguay are really limited in their talent, but are going to play defensive brand. And then Costa Rica, Los Ticos, who are trying to figure out a new generation, because their golden generation is probably 45 years old now. So Costa Rica trying to figure out what to do with them themselves, really. And I'll be looking to see if they try to keep these games as low scoring as possible, try to win each match 0-0. Costa Rica will probably do. I think the third match days will be a lot based on permutations, especially because only the top two in each group look to get through. But we'll all come to that later. And of course, there'll be subsequent Copa America episodes alongside the Euro 2024 episodes. So don't you worry. This is going to be a jam-packed next month or so from @thereal_G Warner, Instagram, Patreon, Twitter, and on YouTube. Subscribe wherever I am, because that's the best way to make sure you're not missing a bunch of podcasts and me talking to myself, most likely. Of course, anyone, if you want to jump on here, let me know. Questions you want to ask would be cool as well. Leaves with 5 stars. Thank you for coming in with a comment. I guess these things work now. Appreciate you so much for saying that through. If I can display this on my screen, we'll see if it actually works. I'm trying to do that. Leaves 5 stars. I might just leave it up the whole time, because yes, 5 stars is good on Twitter. I'll say that. But even better if you throw that in there on Spotify. I don't think you have to leave a comment, but it would be nice if you did. I'll read it out, especially if it's soccer related or if it's related to baseball. I've promised to have my co-host read something, so go ahead and throw that in there. Also, if you are not subscribed on YouTube, at least make sure you do that. And then I should probably take this off so people know what the heck I'm talking about. But I'm going to bring it back later. And Leaps, thanks for joining me super late at night. I appreciate that. Okay, so it's time to get into why you're here, is to make some money on this tournament, and let's get started. So in terms of, I think what I'll do is I'll go through who's going to win this thing, and then talk about each group individually, and then see at the end how much energy I have, steam I have left, and see exactly where we want to go in terms of other props or things like that. Let's see. Can I get the winners? Let's find a winner of the entire thing. Okay, first time winner I don't want. No, I don't want Nation League. All lines are quoted courtesy of BetOnline. Literally have just refreshed the site. So let's start with odds to win Copa America 2024. And I think the best place that I have go here is, yes. So I've been tracking these numbers, and really the point of why I do that is just to see who's getting bet. Certainly not a perfect science. Things are built into these numbers based on how many bets have occurred over the years. I don't think I'm going back too far in this sort of thing, but we can also see, maybe I might even have some even more in the past numbers than just from a few weeks ago. That looks like World Cup odds. That is the Euro odds. And then, okay, well, I got what I have here. So let's go through with it. And I guess that's probably more of a recent look at who's getting bet to win. So I'll go through who I think has chances to actually win this competition. Of course, Argentina, they are the favorites, plus 180, $100 will win you 180 at BetOnline or SportsBetting.ag. Links and promo codes in the podcast descriptions once this hits YouTube and Spotify / Apple Podcasts if you are not a member at those sites. Brazil are second on the list, plus 240. Uruguay 5-1. Colombia 8-1. USA 12-1. Ecuador 18-1. Mexico 20-1. And then we get to Chile at 40-1, who I think is the cutoff. I don't think Chile have much of a chance here. never know with knockout football, but there's a lot of matches they would need to win, and I'm not sure that Chile even get through. US at 12-1 feels like that'll always be short because people will be blindly betting the United States in American markets, but the only thing you can really get away with is if you have a no odds on there, like say that USA won't win it based on their 12-1 odds by making them shorter than they should be. But unfortunately, most of the time you just have to pick who's going to win rather than who will not win. One of the drawbacks, and probably if I was running a sports book and trying to at least be fair about it, I would probably do a lot more to make sure that there are options both ways to try to get as much action as possible. Though I know a lot of books are scared to lose, which doesn't really seem like they should be in that business. With that said, so Argentina, they've been taking a little bit of money since I've been tracking this. Probably not too long ago. I don't have the exact date on here, but I think it was when I was looking at a couple, Euro Cup lines. And so I think, let's see. So when I have that initially, so the Euro lines that I had them from July 18th, 2023 into June 5th, June 10th, June 11th, June 13th, and of course it started on the 14th. So let's say that that was a June 5th little snapshot. So it's been 2 weeks, so not really a short amount of time, and certainly shows the run up into the event of what teams are going to get bet. So in that time frame of 2 weeks, Argentina has dropped 3% or so. Brazil has climbed 8%. Uruguay down 26%. Colombia 25%. USA stayed the same, of course. Ecuador up to 22%, higher than they initially started. Mexico up 20, and then teams that I don't think have a shot. So I'm not really discussing those. What I think is probably most interesting or best to talk about here is who's getting bet a lot. And that, to me, I mean, I think they're just kind of balancing out the action that they're taking at BetOnline, SportsBetting.ag. And so seeing Uruguay dropping significantly down from 6-1 to 4.475, now up to 5-1. So I guess that's moved even a little bit between my refreshes tonight. So some money is coming in, which I guess I did make some macros for this. So this should be able to update once I get this little thing over here. Let's see if I can make this happen. Okay, so even more up to date. Let's go. So Brazil, so they climbed 8%, then dropped 4 more percent. So that's, I guess, an indicator that the Brazilians are getting some respect. Maybe it's Ronaldinho just trying to drive up the prices or something crazy like that. So Uruguay up 5%, but have down 26% initially. That's, I think, a pretty big deal, I gotta say. I can even give you a number from the initial. Just let me key in this thing right here. So, okay, well, that clearly did not work. No, that's not what we're doing here. E, that's what I need. E. There we go. Okay, so now from Uruguay down 26% to up 5% from there. So their total of dropping 20% from the 6-1 odds to 5-1 odds. So to me, that seems like Uruguay is probably the most popular team getting bet right now. Most recently in the last few hours, it's been Brazil. Surprise, surprise, no surprise there. Colombia is still down significantly, down 25%. So I guess Uruguay coming back up. Colombia staying right where they were. Colombia and Uruguay getting bet, which is interesting when you look at the groups and seeing how these A versus B, first place versus second place, and those groups respectively. The nice part for Colombia is they won't have to play Brazil because they're in their same group. They'll get the winners of USA and Uruguay. And I think what is probably expected here is that US are going to finish second in their group. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some money there coming in, but we'll get to that in a little bit. And then so that means Uruguay would play Colombia, and maybe that's what they're taking a shot on, is going from 16 teams to 8, and you're basically getting semifinalists at either 8-1 or 5-1 between Uruguay or Colombia. So, I mean, that's not too difficult of math to do or expectations to consider. So that's something I think I would look for, and that's something I look to going into tournaments, is seeing who's getting bet and seeing if I agree with it or not. Argentina is probably the easiest pick to win. I mean, they are so talented, have played better than anybody They have a very easy group, and then get a winner of Mexico or Ecuador to get through, which is not going to be hard. I think Colombia is probably a bit overvalued based on their unbeaten streak, but I guess they credit them for having it. Brazil are still a very scary team, being priced second most likely to win this tournament. But they have a much harder way to go through Colombia in their group stage. And then if they don't win their group, get a first place finisher in the group C, which is probably Uruguay or potentially USA on the road. Whereas I think Argentines or the Argentinian fan base will be out and probably making every match at home. I mean, I might even go if Messi's playing in Dallas, I'll probably pay to go see it, whatever that number will be, because I have not seen him yet live. I think that probably is exhaustive enough on the Copa America so far, and who's going to win this event. So let's go to group winner, Group A. Or let's just do Group A in the whole way. So we'll start. So that I'll remind everyone that is Argentina, Peru, Chile, and Canada. And let's see. Hopefully, I can find a way to get this to also do this here. Group A. Great time for my computer to completely slow down to finish bottom. Okay, so here we are, and I guess I can update spreadsheets while talking. Let's see if I can make that happen or if it freezes my computer. Hopefully not. Might have to do an upgrade or at least clear the memory or something like that. Anyone with Apple advice on that sort of thing, please let me know. Okay, so I have Canada currently favorite to finish bottom at plus 110. That number has not moved since I've been tracking it. Peru has been dropping a little bit, getting some money bet. Everything else is still the same. So that's a little bit telling, I think. Based on, I think the shuffle up top with the coach, Canada did get a very impressive, if you will, goalless draw on the road at France in the friendlies leading up to this event. I'm not sure how much you can take from those, really, and I feel like I left a lot of money on the table by not betting unders on all those events and really against the big favorites. Saw England lose to Iceland, and so who knows what to really take out of those friendly events. Peru getting bet a little bit does interest me. I'm not sure that matters significantly, but I think that is, I mean, Argentina will not finish bottom. I think that would be the biggest surprise. 50 to 1 odds that'll occur. But I think that there's clearly some interest in getting Peru. I mean, still plus 110 or Canada plus 135 of Peru from plus 145. So not a huge change, but clearly a bet that's been taken there to adjust that number and leave everything else the same. I do think that Peru I mean, I feel like they have a decent chance to get through here just because I think the rest of this group is weak besides Argentina. And that, I guess, does interest me a little bit that they've been taking a bet here. I mean, Chile at 4 to 1 odds to finish bottom of the group with no real ability that I can see. I think I rate CONCACAF far worse than CONMEBOL coming into this tournament, but it's really the bottoms of a weaker CONMEBOL right now. I'm not sure how that compares to the top of CONCACAF. So I'll move now from that group to finish bottom. I don't know if I had to have a pick here. I mean, Canada, I feel like as the favorite to finish bottom, it's nice to get plus odds, but I would tend to, I think, want to go with Chile. It would probably be the pick that I would have. I like the idea of getting 4 to 1 odds that a team that doesn't really have much to speak of, and is still, I think, a little too popular from winning this competition in the past. They might have a little bit more trouble. Let's go to the next Group A. We'll go to the Group A winner. This one has been moving a little bit, and I will read that to you in a second as I scroll. It'd be nice if I had a second screen or second laptop just in general to do this. Let's find Argentina. So Group A winner. So we've seen Argentina. They were initially 1 to 4 odds to win it. They've fallen to minus 333. It's a drop of 20%. And the team that's been getting bet, coincidentally, is Chile at plus 45 currently as we speak. Initially 650, so they've basically been cut in half their odds to win this group. So someone likes Chile right now, and this is exactly why I do this episode or this podcast to kind of get an idea of where the futures market is placing their bets, literally. Um, I don't see Argentina being threatened here, really. And I feel like I don't see any threats to them, honestly. But maybe that's something that someone doesn't really agree with. I mean, the price at minus 333 is it's like a 77% chance that Argentina win this group. I'd almost say it's higher than that, which would indicate I should make a bet here. But I'm not the type that ties up money on favorites, really, especially of this variety. Doesn't seem like there's a lot of challenges there, though. For me, Argentina minus 333, Chile plus 425 down from 650, Peru 12 to 1 stayed the same, and Canada 14 to 1. I don't see any long shots in this group. Let's see a couple more things to qualify. That's a little bit interesting. Let's see what we got here. So Argentina, they are minus 3,000. So 1 to 30 odds to get through in this event. So that's what, about a 3% chance that Argentina don't get through. 23% chance, according to odds makers, they will not win the group. I haven't seen really any movement here. Chile minus 115 to qualify, Canada plus 175, Peru plus 185. So, I guess, I mean, Canada, yes, they're close to the United States, but I can't imagine they have incredible fan bases around the US. I feel like most Canadians have stayed in Canada. There's probably a lot more Peruvians living in the United States than there are Canadians, but I could be wrong on that. I'm not a census taker or really filler outer of. I think when I'm looking at to qualify, though, it does, I mean, Canada favored to finish bottom, but better odds to qualify than Peru. I mean, it does kind of point that the futures market believes in Chile, doesn't really believe in anybody else, doesn't seem to really care about Canada or Peru of who will finish bottom. I think the Chileans, though, I mean, despite getting a little bit of credit here and clearly getting bet to win the group, bet down at least. I don't really see where that comes from, but that's something to certainly think about. All right, so that does it for Group A. Hopefully that was really, really riveting, revealing all these sort of things that you'd want with an R to start. Moving to Group B, I'll remind we have Mexico, Ecuador, Venezuela, and Jamaica. And there's, I think, going to be a tussle here, to say the least. Let's start with, I guess, Group B to qualify. So let's go Group B to qualify in the Copa America. Okay, so here. Okay, so sorry, I'm trying to scroll and have everything line up so I can look at three screens at once. So Mexico, they are the favorite to qualify in this group, which I actually looked at this and kind of expected. And Ecuador had shorter odds to win the entire tournament than Mexico did. But maybe that's changed, or I don't know if it actually has. Let me see. Is that worth a scroll? Let's see. I don't know if it is, but let's see. So to win this entire event, might as well check it out while we're here. Come on. Where the heck is this thing? I think while I'm looking for this, of course, I have to acknowledge, I think I've already done this, but there will be a big crowd advantage at every event that Mexico is playing in. They will have all of the crowd, especially if they play United States. And that's a big deal, I think, in this event. Anywhere, and I find in sports betting in general, if you have inside information, of course, nothing is like non-public information, non-public information from my stock market days. But if you have information about who's going to dominate the crowd, that is a big, big deal. And I don't think that sports betting markets do a good enough job of anticipating that. So to me, that is a great spot to win. And I think that that definitely favors Mexico in this event. So many Mexicans that care about soccer. Very arguable to say that the United States and Americans, or United States of America residents, actually care about the soccer team. It's a very fickle fan base. Surprisingly for this sport, it seems like they're more interested in the Summer Olympics this year. But that's something to think about. In terms of to win the Copa America, it does look like Mexico still outsiders compared to Ecuador. So as long as I've tracked this, Mexico went from 16 to 1 to win, 20 to 1, and that's currently where they sit. Ecuador were 14 to 1, have climbed to 18. So Ecuador's climbed 22%, Mexico has climbed 20%. But Mexico are favored to advance. So that does look interesting to me in this group. Let's see where I just was. Okay, yes. So to qualify, so where this number has moved. So initially, when I looked at this, Mexico were 1 to 4 odds to qualify. That has dropped 14%. AKA, it's gotten there's been less belief in Mexico to qualify. Ecuador have remained the same at 1 to 3 odds, as of Venezuela at plus 150 to qualify, aka to advance, finish top 2. And then Jamaica plus 350. That has dropped from 4 to 1 odds down to 350. So some money has come in on Jamaica, probably based on big names that play in the Premier League. I don't think I would, as I try to get a charger as well, I don't think I would overreact to that, put it that way. Or to the talent, because they haven't shown that they can actually play together. It's been not a new time that we've seen Jamaicans have these English, really they're English players to me, but they couldn't make it or hack it for the Euro, or gave up a long time ago, got too old, never got selected, never got fully committed or got a stamp on them that said they're English. So now they are playing for Jamaica. That does have big names, but big names don't mean everything. These international tournaments that we've seen in so many examples, especially in more covered events. But I think the Venezuelans my biggest interest here at plus 150 to qualify. The problem is, can they get through Mexico? Probably not. I think Mexico basically playing home games this entire tournament. That's a problem. Ecuador, I don't think is that strong though. However, Venezuela has a lot of growth that needs to be confirmed. This tournament could certainly do that, but they've looked good in CONMEBOL from when I was watching. Surprised to see them as big favorites in a lot of their matches leading into this event, and international breaks and such. So I like that Venezuelan side to qualify plus 150. That's probably my biggest interest in this little group of the B variety. We'll move next to finish bottom in Group B, and that is. We've only seen a little bit of movement here, and unfortunately, just as I am saying nice things about Venezuela, there's been some money bet that they will finish bottom of their group. So Jamaica's been favored. That hasn't moved. Minus 135, 135 US dollars win you 100. That Jamaica will finish last in Group B of Copa America 2024. Venezuela have dropped from plus 250 to 215. That's a drop of 16.28%. So 16%, not incredibly big bets coming in, but that's saying that Venezuela and probably trying to gobble up a third place finisher that could finish fourth, especially as teams go for it last match day and such. Though I don't think that that's like, I think Jamaica is most likely to finish bottom, as the odds makers suggest. Ecuador 6.5 to 1 odds to finish bottom. I think there's some value there potentially. I don't know that I believe in Ecuador as much as the odds makers have. And Mexico 7 to 1 odds to finish bottom. That would be a big surprise, but would definitely get their manager fired, as I think anything but winning an event does get them fired as well. Last but not least, Group B winner, and this is what I was talking about earlier. We have Mexico plus 130. $100 US will win you 130. Ecuador plus 140, Venezuela 550, and Jamaica 950. So 9.5 to 1 for Jamaica, 5.5 to 1 for Venezuela, 1.4 to 1 odds for Ecuador, and 1.3 to 1 for Mexico. So assuming I can pull this up, Group B winner. No, I just wanted that last one. Come on, baby. I know you got this. Come on. Group B winner. That's what I was looking for. Please don't freeze. Please don't freeze. Anyway, so Mexico has longer odds to win the event, but better odds to win their group. I don't know that I understand that, slash I am telling you pretty much I do not. But where this number has moved. So Mexico initially, when I was tracking this, were plus 120 to win. They're now plus 130. That's an increase of 7.69% because Ecuador, Venezuela, and Jamaica have all been getting bet. So Ecuador down from 160 to plus 140, the biggest jump, 14% of those initial odds. Venezuela down 9% and Jamaica down 5%. Jamaica would be the biggest surprise to me, as I just said. I think they're going to finish bottom. Venezuela plus five and a half or 5.5 to 1 odds for Venezuela to win this group. It's going to be hard playing through a road game against Mexico, and Mexico getting 3 home games. But I think there is some value in that potentially because Ecuador, I don't think they're that strong. I think that's probably my general takeaway from this Group C number, or Group B number, and we'll move on to Group C. Hopefully that will get me to qualify first. Let's see. Group C to qualify. So Uruguay favorites in this group, very significant favorites at that. Currently minus 1250. So it's going to take you more than $1,000 to win your $100 bet at BetOnline or SportsBetting.ag. That's pretty significant, I would say. The US are minus 700, so 1 to 7 odds on to get through. Panama 4 to 1 odds, down from plus 450, and Bolivia 6 to 1 odds actually have increased from 5 to 1 to 6 to 1. So Bolivia's getting bet down 12.5%. Panama has climbed 16.67%, so almost 7%, and Uruguay and the USA, or United States of America, have not moved whatsoever. I am not shy to say I'm not a believer in the United States men's national team, despite all these big names or big name clubs that these guys are playing for. A lot of them are loaned out other places, made these big moves and have flopped. And I don't think that's just a Barcelona or a Borussia Dortmund problem. I think that's more about the player. I'm a little surprised to see Uruguay so much bigger of a favorite than the United States. Of course, they've played well in CONMEBOL, and the United States have not played well in anything really. Getting a draw against a down Brazil team after getting smashed by Colombia, I mean, I guess was a nice way to save face, but there's a lot of questions that I have about the men's national team and the LOL search that they hired and spent a lot of money on a search firm just to go back to the same manager who kicked his wife in a nightclub or something like that in a bar way back when. Wow. Go U.S. Men's National Team Federation, whatever. Brilliant. You know, that they've been also getting absolutely destroyed by women and their complaints. So good job to all in that one, to say the least. Group C, now I'll go to the finished bottom area. And that's actually seen a little bit of movement just on Bolivia. Really, actually, everything has stayed the same. Bolivia from minus 120 to minus 165, $165 win 100. That Bolivia will finish Group C on the bottom, or in the bottom position. Panama have remained held steady at plus 110, $100 will win you 110. USA 20 to 1 and Uruguay 25 to 1. So not a lot of belief in the Bolivians. Like I said, they've been a lot better and get their results at home generally in CONMEBOL, and sometimes do well there, but they will be playing far away and have to start with the United States. So maybe that's not a bad start, because the U.S. have not proven anything so far in this international break or going back a long time. I don't know that, I mean, Panama wouldn't be a crazy finish to finish last either, but I think they're going to potentially cause some problems. Obviously, they know the United States well. And I feel like Panama's future is bright, a lot brighter than a lot of the other teams in CONCACAF. So I don't think that there's much for me to do in this one. Let's see. I think there's also one more, and that is the Group C winner. Here we go. See if anything has moved here. So Uruguay currently favorites, and there actually has been some movement between my last refresh and unsurprisingly, you could probably guess if you've paid attention, know what country I am recording from, or really anything, that there might be some sort of idea that there might be some movement here potentially. Let's see. My very well put together Excel is pulling the wrong info. Come on, why is that not working? Okay, that's why, because that's why the hell. Oh man, that should work. Why isn't that working? Anyway, well, Uruguay have initially were started at minus 130 to win this group. USA plus 140, Bolivia 20 to 1, Panama 20 to 1. I guess they just didn't feel like putting bigger numbers on those for some reason. Here we are, and that's not right. Why is that happening that way? Okay, let's do this again. There it is. Okay, sorry, my VLOOKUP. I guess I'm not an index match boy like I thought I was. Um, is that not working? Okay, that should work. Okay, thank you so much. Your Gemini or whatever you're doing, this AI, it's really not doing anything. I still have to do the same grind Excel work that I have done consulting businesses and things of that nature. I love life. Great, fun. Okay. So, I guess I should probably pull this to see the latest move, and then I'll compare it also to the move that we saw previously to this. And that would be so the Uruguay to win this group. They have moved from minus 130 to minus 160, and then some buyback has come basically on the United States, and they've fallen back to minus 150. So and that of course did not go well. Let's see. Yes, doing macros while I'm recording live. I'm sure what everyone wants to hear at 1:15 Central Time on a Thursday morning. But I appreciate you that are here, and we're already 41 minutes in. So thank you for sticking around. Uruguay, so they've gone from minus 130 to minus 160 down to minus 150. Initially, they've changed 19% and then come back 7%. So they're down about 13%. Or up. I guess Uruguay's been getting bet 13% higher ever since I've been tracking these numbers. The United States, they were plus 140 up to 150, back to 140. So that number has not moved or has returned. It's on a round trip from where it started or where I started tracking it to now. And that is the difference between who's going to win this group. I don't see Bolivia or Panama. Bolivia has climbed, 9%. Panama have stayed the same 20 to 1 odds, and I don't expect that to change too much. But I do think that there's some potential value in, I mean, I just don't think Panama can get through both of these big sides that are clearly big favorites to win this whole thing, or at least to win this Group C, excuse me. I think Panama are a team I'm going to want to bet against as a big underdog to Uruguay and the United States, and I can't imagine they're going to be anything but a favorite to Bolivia. But if they're not, pick them maybe. It's probably the best we could do. I think that's some interest to me when they play in the actual group stage. Not much for me to do here. United States is an underdog, probably to win Group C. Does seem like it's interesting. But I've been pretty down on the United States, so it'd be kind of weird to then all of a sudden pick them over one of the best footballing nations in the world that's proven it time and time again. It's been a while since the U.S. has proved anything, though Uruguay, I guess, have not had a great run, but I think they've been showing a lot more recently than anybody else has. So now I'll move to Group D. Then I'll get probably another plug-in, and then get some best bet promo codes or whatever the heck comes out of my mouth because it's late, and then we will move on from there. So moving to Group D now, and this is the group of Brazil, Colombia, Paraguay, and Costa Rica. And we'll start with the finished bottom because that seems to be interesting to some. We actually do have some movement here as well. So get to build some more macros. Great. Actually, the only movement is on Paraguay. And excuse me, on Paraguay to finish bottom here. Brazil 33 to 1 odds to finish last. They will not do that, so I don't think it's even worth discussing. Costa Rica are the favorites, minus 175 to finish bottom. I think they are in a kind of troublesome spot right now with their moving away from their golden generation with some decent expectations that they cannot live up to. I think that's a big problem for them. Maybe they fix it, but maybe they don't. That number has not moved whatsoever. Paraguay have fallen. Let's see if I can get this math really quickly, please. They've fallen about 10%. So they were initially plus 225 to finish bottom, now plus 205, but no movement from anyone else. Just suggests that I think Paraguay have gotten bet. Um, they don't have a lot, but they do play defense, and I think that means something. We'll see what that ends up saying about how this group will go. Colombia six plus 650, 6.5 1 odds to finish bottom. They've been playing so well and being undefeated for so long. I just don't think that bottom is a realistic finishing point for the Los Cafeteros, the Colombians. Find where the next Group D number we can look for. I will be coming back, of course, with match day one. Probably maybe tomorrow, probably after Argentina play, because I don't think that's a really big thing. They're going to win their group, all that sort of stuff. I don't know that I'll be playing Canada tomorrow, but I still need to look at that number clearly. Move now to Group D winner. And this is, I think, an interesting one, to put it pretty quietly. And we've been actually seeing Colombia catch some money here, which is nice. I think that's fairly important that we see. I think some questions about Brazil. I mean, Ronaldinho has already brought them up publicly. That's been clear. I think so. Brazil minus 250 to win Group D. Colombia plus 250, down from plus 275. Paraguay 14 to 1 odds. That's also been got bet down despite them also being bet to finish bottom. And then Costa Rica is still at 25 to 1. That number has maintained this entire time. As I try to get this quickly done. I think Brazil, so the big question about Brazil, I mean, they still have the best talent in this tournament, arguably with Argentina. I don't see it to be too different, but I think that the differences between the two is just the results. And Brazil have not had good ones. It's hard to say that they'll suddenly do that, but why would anyone at this time in our world, in the year of our Lord 2024, why would anyone bet against Brazil and that talent figuring it out against weaker competition? I'm probably not one to do that. I think Colombia are overvalued. They've dropped 10% from plus 275 to plus 250. And Paraguay, as I just said, getting bet to finish bottom, but then all of a sudden dropping from 16 to 1 to win their group to 14 to 1. It's dropping 14.29%, so even bigger than the Colombians. I mean, those are bets against Brazil to win this group. Of course, is a big favorite. Number has not moved, but clearly Colombia's money has come in, as has Paraguay. I feel like seeing Paraguay jump, I mean, with longer odds, probably not that different of bets, but it seems like there's some money that's out there against Brazil. I don't think I want to do that. It certainly would be a reflection of how they've been playing, but that's very, very scary to me. And I'm not sure it's something I really want to mess with. I think we'll go through the to qualify, or have I done all that already? I don't know that I've done that yet. So let's find the to qualify numbers, and then I'll get out of here with an ultimate best bet. And hopefully that will make everyone very, very happy. Because that's what I'm here to do. Okay, Group T winner, I do not need. Come on. Come on. You can do this. Sorry for everyone, the computer issues. I guess I'm just out of memory, and no matter what I do to try to fix that, I guess it's going to be a problem forever. Oh no, okay, that's what we want. No, that's not what we want. Group D winner we just discussed. I'm going to go through the Group D to advanced numbers, because I mean, I guess there's a crazy world where maybe Brazil do not qualify. All right. So in terms of where this number has moved, it has moved slightly with Paraguay. They've been, I guess, their odds to advance have decreased based on the bets that have been made. So you get better odds, basically the market not believing in Paraguay. I'm a little bit surprised by that, but I literally was just saying how they've been bet to win their group, but I've been bet more to finish bottom. So it seems like some people are betting against Paraguay, some people are betting for them. Oh my God, I don't even know how to explain that, but it is what it is at this point. So here we are. Colombia minus 280 to advance. That number has stayed the same. Paraguay have just increased from 225 to plus 250. So, I mean, how big of a difference is that? Really? Not a huge one, clearly. I think that the interesting thing, Costa Rica have also got, wow, that's the biggest one. Costa Rica to qualify, down from plus 550 to plus 425. That is, I'd say that's significant. Significant to some, as they like to say on ESPN when they're trying to avoid the gambling thing. And now they have ESPN Bet literally plugged on every Stanley Cup episode or commercial, it seems. I wonder, and this is probably something I need to do some digging, probably not live while my computer's having an aneurysm, is trying to figure out exactly why Costa Rica is getting bet. And this is one of those things why I do this podcast, of course, to support all of you and try to get you some value and potentially set up some winners for all of you listeners out there, but also to get an idea of kind of what the heck's going on here. So Costa Rica to qualify is down to plus 425. That is down nearly 30%. So there are some believers in Costa Rica, and like I said, I'm going to research this because that means something to me, especially because it basically tells me I need to look to bet them. I'm not going to do that based on just seeing this, but that's a big move considering the rest. It doesn't seem like a misprice. Most of these numbers have moved 15%, and that was with big numbers. This, I mean, from 5.5 to 1 to plus 425, down 29.41%. I mean, that says something to me, especially because this just occurred, as I don't think I noticed this earlier and was honestly almost going to skip to qualify by accident. That's something to take advantage of potentially. I'm going to look at Costa Rica, the big underdog against Brazil, also against Colombia, and I mean, potentially Paraguay as well, especially the way these odds look up. And maybe that won't go well, but I think that's certainly worth investigating further. So I don't know, like a way to kind of follow that along. I don't really want to play Costa Rica to win their group because that would be, I mean, lucrative at 25 to 1, but probably not the best. I think to finish bottom, I mean, as I said, they dropped 10% there. So or Paraguay have dropped 10%. So minus 175, maybe that means Paraguay is maybe that's an explanation for why Paraguay have fallen to finish bottom, because there's a lot of belief in Colombia and that unbeaten record, plus the Brazilians, there's belief in them forever, of course. Maybe that's the way to do it, is bet Costa Rica to qualify, but they'd probably be taking out Colombia to get there, have to somehow get through Paraguay as well, and that seems like a pretty tough road, I think I would say. So that's all I think what we're trying to do here on this podcast, Betting the Podcast Network. Do this for the Major League Baseball, basically compare my lines live with you to lines that are offered in by the marketplace. I do that at A Brooks Bets on Twitter. We are 6-0 our last 6 best bets Major League Baseball with you every Tuesday night for the Wednesday card. Usually a lot of day games, but c'est la vie. Also plug I'm on with pregame tomorrow night, or now tonight. It's actually Thursday already, getting up in 6 hours or so for the Euro 2024. But MLB podcast tonight with Munaf Manji, and then still trying to get some NFL preseason stuff or futures episode out there. I know everyone's looking for that. Plus, we'll be back on the college basketball once we get some idea of what these rosters will look like next season. If you're not a member of my Patreon, check it out, patreon.com/real_G Warner. If you haven't subscribed to this podcast, make sure you do that on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify and on YouTube at the real_G Warner, Betting the Pitch on the other platforms. And 5-star reviews are huge. Thank you for Leaves coming in here earlier. I think I'll show your comment again, just so everyone knows this is what you can do. Maybe not on Twitter, do it on the actual platforms where it will get me up the search rankings, but I appreciate it nonetheless. Thank you, Leaves. And I will hide you now, so I'll go back so everyone knows what the heck I'm talking about. It's also time to get into the ultimate best bet, and I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to cover before I do so. I don't know, just hang around. It's going to be a rocky, I mean, Euro started off horribly, but that's what happens when overs and favorites are covering every match. I would expect that will stop, and I don't think that'll ever happen in CONMEBOL Copa America, because I think that's going to be a very, very low-scoring event, and that's going to play very well into a better like mine hands, a better like mine's hands. There we go. It's late, 1:27 local time. I guess I got to do this because I got to upload it and then somehow get all the editing done and then go to bed. It's going to be a long night for your boy at the real_G Warner, but I would only do it. I'm doing it because I love it. Love you all. Thank you for all the support. And I think it's time for that ultimate best bet. So let's do it. Hey, this is the real_G Warner. This is Betting the Pitch, the Copa America Futures episode. I'm rocking my Cristiano Pulisic jersey because there's no one else that I support. Don't really even know that I really love Christian Pulisic, but that's what went to a Milan match. I was in the team store. What can you do? Add 15 euros to put his name on the back. You know, I'm not generally a huge fan of that, but Captain America, he deserves it. I'm the real_G Warner on Instagram, Patreon, Twitter, and on YouTube. Please subscribe across all the platforms. The podcast, if you want more than 1 minute on Instagram or YouTube shorts, then make sure you go follow the podcast wherever you get your podcasts. And if you're not a member of my Patreon, check it out, patreon.com/real_G Warner. You get all my plays, leans, reps, everything going into each night, each day. You know when I lock them in, so you get the best prices. But for my best bet in this futures episode of Copa America, I will go with La Vino Tinto, Venezuela, to qualify out of their group. I'm not sure if they'll knock off Mexico or Ecuador, but plus 150 to get through. And that'll do it for this episode. Thank you for tuning in. I will talk to you all very soon, just in a few hours, honestly. But love the support late night, and I can't wait to see how many you watch this tomorrow.